Imagine finding a $1 million Ferrari abandoned in the middle of nowhere. Before I reveal the shocking truth behind this story, please emphasize tap like. It keeps this channel going and makes sure you don't miss the unbelievable ending. Hello friends. Every year, countless cars disappear around the world, but it's not only because of thefts. You won't believe it, thousands of vehicles are simply abandoned every year. They're left in airport parking lots, at shopping malls, near hospitals, and in places you'd never expect. Even exclusive high-end cars sometimes end up in the wrong hands, and their fate is anything but glamorous. Take a young man named Tom. At his college graduation, his parents gifted him a 1955 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL. He drove it happily until the transmission began to fail. In the early 1970s, he rolled it into a garage where it sat for the next 40 years, buried beneath piles of junk and old computers. It took 2 full days just to clear the space around the car. When the dust settled, it turned out not to be just any 300 SL, but a rare, lightweight version with plexiglass windows and reinforced brakes. The car was sent for restoration, and once complete, its auction value was expected to exceed $1 million. Another astonishing case, a Lamborghini Miura purchased in 1969 by Greek shipping magnate Aristotle Onassis as a gift for his friend Stamatis Kokotis. Kokotis loved rally racing, but after a few runs, the engine gave up in 1972. The engine went back to Lamborghini for repair. The car itself was left in the underground parking lot of the Hilton Hotel in Athens, untouched for over 3 decades. When it finally reached auction in 2012, the opening bid stood at $480,321. In the United States, a rare Dodge Charger Daytona, built in a limited run of 503, was bought in the 1970s by an Alabama judge as a gift for his wife. Decades later, in 2015, it was found in the same state, dusty but intact, still wearing its legendary giant rear wing. Listed at Mecum Auctions, the starting price was $150,000, and the catalog noted its well-preserved engine. In Dubai, failing to repay debts is a criminal offense. Because of that, some expatriates abandon their cars, sometimes leaving the keys and even credit cards inside before fleeing. One of the most striking examples, a Ferrari Enzo worth over $1 million, confiscated by police after its British owner allegedly racked up massive speeding fines and left the country. Here's another jaw-dropper. Not just a Rolls-Royce Phantom, but a one-of-a-kind Rolls-Royce Centurion, custom-built for a Las Vegas tycoon. Later sold to a buyer in Russia, it was photographed abandoned in a ditch near a railway. No Rolls-Royce deserves such a fate, especially a unique one-off masterpiece. A Bugatti Veyron, priced around $1.5 million and famed as one of the fastest production supercars on Earth, was abandoned in Russia after an Aston Martin crashed into its rear. The wounded hypercar was simply left on the street. In North Carolina, demolition crews clearing an old property discovered several rare cars in a neighboring garage, vehicles that had sat untouched for 27 years. Among them, an exclusive Ferrari 275 GTB2, valued at a minimum of $4 million, and a 1967 Shelby Cobra 427. Once the dust was wiped away, both were in excellent cosmetic condition and soon headed to auction. Over in Chengdu, China, an overgrown parking area hides an estimated 200 abandoned vehicles: Bentleys, Land Rovers, Mercedes-Benz models, and more. Many are tangled in criminal cases or registration errors, making them impossible to reclaim. The crown jewel is a Bentley Continental GT, and there's even a flying spur. Together, these two alone can be worth well over $400,000. Stranger still, new cars, sometimes luxury ones, keep appearing there every month. Back in North Carolina, explorers stumbled upon a DeLorean DMC-12 deep in the woods, half buried under leaves and soil. No one knows the owner or why it was left, but there it was, a time capsule icon quietly returning to nature. From Britain comes the tale of a 1930s Bugatti once owned by Earl Howe, president of the British Racing Drivers Club. It eventually landed in the garage of Harold Carr in Newcastle, where it sat for decades. This Type 57 Adelante, one of only 17 ever made, featured aluminum body panels and a one-piece windshield. In 2019, it sold at Bonhams for $4.4 million. In Hong Kong, parking can cost as much as renting an apartment in New York or Moscow. It's no surprise some owners simply walk away. Authorities tow abandoned cars to scrapyards where rare gems occasionally surface, like a Lotus Esprit or even a Ferrari 250 GT SWB California Spider. Only 37 of those Ferraris were built, each with a 3-liter V12. One example fetched $18.5 million at auction. Jaguar's XJ20 once held the crown as the world's fastest production car, with a top speed of 350 kilometers per hour. Yet, in Qatar in 2014, one of only 275 examples was found abandoned in the desert. In France, an abandoned estate belonging to Roger Bayon revealed a breathtaking treasure in 2014. Roughly 100 classic cars, including a 1925 Bugatti Brescia Roadster. Despite the garage's poor condition, it had survived well and later sold for €830,000. And then there's the Aston Martin DB4, produced from the late 1950s to 1963, with only 1,185 units built. In Massachusetts, one DB4 was discovered in a forest after nearly 50 years. Time had been unkind, but it was fully restored and sold for about $500,000. These stories remind us, Bugatti, Bentley, Ferrari, Lotus, Porsche, cars like these should be cherished and preserved. Yet, around the world, they're sometimes forgotten, neglected, and let to fade, until someone lifts the dust and history breathes again. Now I'm curious, if you discovered a rare abandoned supercar, what would you do with it? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. Thanks for listening. If this story surprised you, remember to like, and I'll see you in the next one.